Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Elgin, and today we will be doing a project review on Vela Bay, the highly anticipated new launch in Bayshore. But let's do it a bit different today. We won't be going too much into the project details, the pros and cons and things like that, because with all the marketing hype around this project, I'm sure you already have all the necessary information. Vela Bay is going to be an OCR project with a RCR kind of price tag, so I feel the importance should be more on the pricing. Does Vela Bay have price support, which can help to strengthen its exit strategy? And do remember to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you find this content useful. Thank you very much. Let's go. So this is Vela Bay. It sits on a pretty regular piece of land, and it's also one of the last few sea-fronting plots left in this area. So the towers are also tilted to ensure maximum distance to the existing and future developments, and also to maximize the unblocked sea views. So around 72% of the units in Vela Bay will be sea-facing units, and approximately 52% will enjoy sea views starting from level 11. So Vela Bay is next to the MRT, next to the ECP Expressway. Also very near, just across the road, is East Coast Park. And what more can you ask for? So let's look into some of the project details. A quick one, okay? So Vela Bay is in Bayshore Road, District 16, developer Singhai Group, 99 years leasehold, and TOP date is estimated December 2031, 515 residential units, and being in a car-light precinct. Alright, there is only 50% car park allocation, which gives us 258 car park lots. And of course, the limited number of car park lots may be a concern to some buyers, because then how would these car park lots be allocated? Will it be on a first-come, first-served basis with a separate fee? Will it be through balloting? Or will it be through, more priority given to the larger unit types? Okay. So next is land size. 113,000 square feet land rate, which the developer acquired this piece of land, $1,388 per square foot per plot ratio, and the break even is $2,528 per square foot estimated, alright? So for the unit mix, there are a total of 515 units. One bedroom and the two bedroom units make up a total of 224 units, while the 3 and 4 beders and the 5 beders and penthouse, they make up the remaining 291 units. Okay, there are 27 units of one bedroom type, all located in one stack, which is stack number 4. The two bedroom units are spread out across 6 different stacks. The regular two bedroom units come with 2 bedrooms and 1 bath and an open concept kitchen. Alright, the premium 2 bedroom units come with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and enclosable kitchens. So moving on to the site plan, the facilities are spread over 2 levels, the first story and the basement level 1. Okay, so over here you have your MRT, which is next to the project, and then you have a side gate that gets you the MRT as well. So this will be your arrival area. Okay, your ingress and egress into Vela Bay, and then this is where you get to your basement car park. So of course you have full condo facilities in Vela Bay. This will be your main pool area, your tennis court, your clubhouse, and your other ancillary pools. Now let's take a look at the facing of the units in Vela Bay. So generally there are 4 different types of views. Of course, developers try their best to maximize the sea-facing units. Okay, so over here, southwest to southeast facing, you will get the sea views from level 11 onwards. And of course, the other side towards the west, you will get your high-rise views towards the existing developments, which are the Costa del Sol and the Bayshore. Alright, low-rise view is towards the existing landed areas, and of course your future BTOs, which will be beside Vela Bay. And of course, where the higher PSF loading might be will be along this stretch, and of course this stretch. Alright, will be along here. For this block, it will be these units facing towards the sea, and for the other block, it will be over this area, which is southeast to east facing. Okay, now this image will give a better overview of the developments around Vela Bay. So Vela Bay is over here, and the MRT is on our right. Okay, existing developments Costa del Sol and the Bayshore, and of course you have your beautiful sea views, your East Coast Park, your expressway, and future Bayshore developments over here. Next up, let's look at the Bayshore area, the Bayshore precinct. So being a blank canvas, right, this area will actually enjoy a lot of new amenities and facilities. So let's take a look at what some of these facilities are. So first, to start off, we have a new school, we have a new connection to the expressway, new healthcare facilities. There will also be two new parks coming up, the new Linear Park and the new Central Park. There's also a new bridge to the East Coast Park, and there's a new Safra Clubhouse. There will also be retail and dining amenities and a brand new integrated development with a mall and bus interchange. This is at the Bedok South MRT. This piece of land is currently in the GLS tender for this month. There are also existing schools such as your Temasek Primary, Secondary, and JC. So Bayshore is also anchored by the Changi Airport and the Changi Business Park. So this will bring about, more employment opportunities and of course more lifestyle options for the residents in Bayshore. So in this case, does Vela Bay really enjoy first mover advantage? I would say yes, in the sense that, this is one of the last few sea-facing plots for private residential projects, right? And it is also next to the MRT, next to the expressway, and then you have all these brand new amenities and facilities coming up. Okay, so we have the indicative prices from the developer right here. So one bedroom starting from 1.2 XX million, two bedrooms starting from 1.4, three bedrooms starting from 2.2, your four bedrooms starting from 3.1, and the five bedrooms starting from 4.5 XX million. All right, so this is very interesting because this indicates that the starting PSF is as low as 25XX per square foot. So now, right now, if you look at the Edge Prop estimated break-even price, right, for Vela Bay is at $2,528 per square foot already. So does that mean the developer is selling their units at break-even prices? I don't think so, right? I don't think that's possible. So let's take a look at what the prices might be at the 10% right up to 25% profit margin. Okay, so at 10%, right, the PSF would be 2,907 per square foot, and at 15% is at $3,034, and at 20% this is at $3,160 per square foot, and at 25% this will be $3,286 per square foot. So my guess is that the average prices for Vela Bay would hit at least $3,000 to $3,100 per square foot. Next up will be our price support evaluation. We want to evaluate whether Vela Bay is a value buy and whether it has price support. So to do this, we will compare against three categories: existing new launches, future new launches, and resale condos. So we'll take the closest comparison so that this would be an accurate evaluation. So for price support, the first segment we want to look at is the resale condos. So the closest in comparisons, we will be taking four different condos here. So first up will be Seaside Residences, which is next to Siglap MRT, 5 years old this year, and there are also many sea view facing units. This is also a very highly profitable project, and it is the best alternative to Vela Bay in my opinion. Okay, the next one will be Costa del Sol, which is a very popular project, 29 years old, and it has the best sea-facing units out of the three resale condos in Bayshore. So the Bayshore sits behind Costa del Sol, slightly older at 33 years in age, and some of the units here get the partial sea views. Okay, so last one is Bayshore Park, which is the oldest out of the four at 45 years old. So in terms of sea view facing in this Bayshore area, out of these three condos, Costa del Sol will rank first, followed by Bayshore Park and the Bayshore. So let's see how they did in terms of pricing. Okay, so for this price table, we have two sets of prices. The first set in blue, these are the transacted prices, whereas the purple ones, these are adjusted for lease reset. We reset back to 99 years again, and then we also reset it for harmonization, the GFA harmonization. All right, so you can see that Bayshore Park, despite being 12 years older, its prices are actually quite on par with the Bayshore, which is younger, 12 years younger. Yeah, so two obvious reasons would be that Bayshore Park has more sea-facing units and it has a much larger land size, almost 2.4 times bigger than the Bayshore, whereas the number of residential units for these two projects are actually pretty similar. So on the surface level, if you compare Costa del Sol and the Bayshore, 4 years in age apart, right, Costa del Sol enjoys up to $600 per square foot premium in pricing compared to the Bayshore. So I think this can be attributed to the premium that buyers give for unblocked sea views. So looking at the adjusted PSF pricing, right, if you look at seaside residences, all right, the average PSF is almost at $2,500 per square foot, and the highest that they have achieved is almost $3,000 per square foot. So now if you compare that to Vela Bay, which is on a new 99 years lease and also GFA harmonized, then prices for Vela Bay and seaside residences, which is a resale project, are pretty similar. Okay, so next up will be the existing new launches. So I took two projects here which are both freehold, Continuum and Mayor Blue. So Continuum is in Thiam Siew Avenue, which is nearer to Katong, while Mayor Blue is along Mayor Road and faces the sea. So the adjusted PSF is for the GFA harmonization because these two projects were launched before the new rules took effect. So from these two projects, you can see that the same PSF difference. Alright, just now we saw Bayshore and Costa del Sol. So now if you look at Continuum and Bayshore, you can see the same PSF difference of up to $600 between a sea-facing project and a non-sea-facing project. So being freehold and closer to the city, Mayor Blue's adjusted average PSF is at $3,452 per square foot. So what would be a fair discount for Vela Bay given that this is an OCR project and it is a leasehold development? Last but not least, let's look at the future new launches as well. Here we have Bedok Rise, which the tender just recently closed. Okay, this is in front of Tanah Merah MRT station. 10 developers bidded for this GLS land, and All Green emerged as the top bidder at $1,329 per square foot per plot ratio. So I think this shows developers' confidence in the east side given that the recent new launches in Tampines did very well. So, and between Vela Bay and Bedok Rise, the difference is just $60 per square foot per plot ratio in land price. Now, this wouldn't be too difficult to decide, right, whether you should go for Vela Bay or go for Bedok Rise. The GLS land for an integrated development at Bayshore Drive was just launched for sale recently, and integrated developments have been very popular recently. Just look at how well Parktown Residences and Pioneer Residences did. And this should be a very competitive tender as well because it's linked to the Bedok South MRT, and then you have a bus interchange incorporated as well. And supply for private housing in Bayshore will be estimated at around 3,000 units. But do take note that not all will provide the same convenience of being next to the MRT and being able to provide sea views as well. So the key is to be very selective and to understand where the future private residential plots are as well. All right. And to conclude, should we buy Vela Bay or should we skip it? As we know, government is still releasing land for sale and developers are very keen to replenish their land bank. And we saw very competitive bidding in the last few GLS land tenders. So while I think Vela Bay should be on your watch list, I think the more important thing is to analyze the prices when they are released, because while indicative prices, the current indicative prices are attractive, the actual prices may not reflect the same. You have to find out at what price you should walk away from Vela Bay and move on to the other projects. So that is something that you have to determine and make the right decision. With that, we have come to the end of the video. So if you have found the content useful, please help to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any property needs, be it buying or selling, please remember to contact me. With that, take care and I'll see you in the next video.